G'day folks, today is transport day, so I've got all the picking and packing done with Angela. I'm trying to get everything loaded in between rain showers because of the cardboard boxes. Get them loaded and then I can get the cover on. Got the cover just to protect the cardboard boxes. If they get rained, yeah, they'll just collapse, but cardboard is better, much better than the styro boxes. That make not good for the environment, plus it makes the fruit sweat inside. It's kind of like having something in an esky. So pallet on and get things done.
Our 7-acre farm is located on the Cassowary coast, in the wet tropics of far north Queensland, Australia, where the rainforest meets the reef. We grow commercial crops of tropical fruit, jackfruit and canistel, and also use our spare land to fulfill our dream of becoming more self-sufficient. In our weekly videos, we share with you our slice of paradise and our life on the farm.
So the sellotape here is really tough tape. Actually, it's not ordinary sellotape. As you can see, these boxes kind of stack on one another, so they make a column rather than alternating how you load each layer so that the boxes interlock. So the tape is just to steady them. Then we've got the destination, and then the cardboard on top. That's for distribution of weight if the freight company decides to put a pallet on top of ours. So now it's just a matter of putting the cover on and strapping it down, and you'll see I've got a plywood board that I put on top, so the board is just to distribute the pressure so that I can ratchet down fairly stiff without crushing the boxes. Okay, so let's get going. Today is Friday morning. This will start its way down south just after lunch, and we'll hit the market floors on, I believe it's Tuesday morning. So yeah, it's a few days to get down to the southern markets. We've changed the way that we pack our fruit since when we first started. We listened to another grower, obviously been doing the job for 30 years, to listen to people and their advice, except the advice was not the right advice. We were initially told to pack in styro boxes, polystyrene, but polystyrene is it's kind of what they use for insulation in eskies or cold rooms and such like, which, yes, you know, it stops the heat coming out of the cold room. But if your fruit is a fruit that heats up, then the heat can't get out of that styro box and basically just cook the fruit. So that was one thing we learned not to do. So told to pack by weight, which made it extremely difficult, because to get it like at the right weight, you were taking, oh, that one's not quite enough, so put that one in, still not enough, put this one in. There was a lot of messing about, whereas You may have seen with photos that we've put on, we pack by what they call count. So there's so many fruits in a box, and then the agent just weighs the box at the other end. So the weight will vary in the box, but the count will be the same. So we pack either 16 fruit to a box or 20 fruit to a box. Makes it a lot easier because the packing, Angela just picks by size and puts them all in. Twice as quick, the packing. But also, one of the problems that was pointed out by the agent is that if you put a weight on and when it gets to the other end that weight isn't right, because the fruit has moisture in it, so it can lose weight. It's pretty risky if you're putting a weight on your boxes and then at the other end that weight isn't right. So it's safer legally to pack by size, and it's also a hell of a lot quicker. It's just so much more simple. Anyway, we will get down to the transport, get rid of this, then I'm back to pruning. Get those jackfruits hopefully finished pruning. It's the next morning from when I went to pick up the new part for the pruners. Okay, this is what we use. It's a Infaco battery pruner setup. So the battery pack here can either clip onto a harness, so a sort of backpack, or straight onto the belt. Then the lead goes into the back of the pruners there. As you can imagine, you know, you can only prune as tall as you are with your arm stretched. So what we've gone and done is purchased this extension. Infaco does one or two different extension poles. The two that are longer than this are both extendable, but if you can imagine, the further out your pruner is, the more leverage, so that it will be heavier, so there'll be more fatigue. I've gone for this one, which is I think 1.2 meters or 1.3 meters long. It's not extendable, didn't want that because that just adds more weight. So the point is, it will, rather than having to constantly climb ladders or stand on platforms and move the platforms along just to be able to reach higher, I can use this. Even if I do need to use step ladders, I'm not climbing right to the very, very top, which in itself is probably a little bit risky, especially in the wet season when the ground is quite wet. So the point will be, we will disconnect the battery cord here from the handset. The handset goes inside here, giving you still access to the on and off button, and then the battery lead goes in here. And because obviously you can't reach the trigger, this then becomes the trigger, and this slides up and down depending on how high up you're going. So let's put it together. So we'll unscrew this, and it just riddles out. I assume that this knob here just unscrews. You'll have to excuse me, I haven't actually put this together myself yet. Maybe I should have had a play first. There we go. So for this connection here, there's a corresponding one there. Don't know why that was there. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, with a little bit of trial and error, I've worked out that this is just to pull the cord up. As I say, maybe I should have had a play first before I filmed this. So, I don't know if you will be able to see on the end here, but there are 3 prongs. So there's only one way that this will go. Screw the knurled nut on, which holds that in place. Let's put that little bit of cord back so we don't lose that. Put the handset in. Where are we there? Then the battery end. There's the on and off button, and this section should light up. There we go. And there's 3 bars. And as the battery gets less and less charge, they just reduce. But this, honestly, this battery, I think is 48 volt on this one. And this will easily last me 2 days worth of pruning. So I'm going to guess you press this button and it prunes. Put the battery pack there out of the way. So if I'm doing stuff that's close up, I can just do that. If I want to reach higher, the pole itself slides up, but you just keep this in place. And I'm reaching probably 3.5 meters there. So, hopefully the weather will hold off and I can get some high up pruning. I've done the low down stuff. So this bit is the good news. The bad news that I received today, frustration, is when we send the fruit away on a Friday, it gets there normally on to the markets Monday night, Tuesday morning, ready to hit the floor Tuesday morning and at the central markets, and they refer to it as Tropical Tuesday. Nearly all the tropical fruit hits the floor that day. But the truck, for some reason, and we don't know why yet, didn't get there until actually 24 hours late. Got there Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So there's something that's gone on. And anyway, our consignment of fruit is ruined. As fruit ripens, it generates heat, which is why the fruit goes in the cold room to slow down that ripening process, so that it arrives at a state where the retailers can sell it, and gives them a few days to sell the fruit. But yeah, the temperature of the fruit had got up to 16.5. So obviously something had gone on in terms of refrigeration on the truck, or the pallet was left out too long in the sun when it's being loaded. Wasn't at this end, I know it wasn't at this end, but all the fruit goes down to a central hub where it's then taken off the trucks here, because different growers might be sending to different states. So it's taken off and it's reloaded on other trucks, which then takes the fruit to Perth or Melbourne or Sydney. So whether something happened there, but all the fruit is ruined. Can't sell it. It's gone too far. The trials and tribulations, the frustrations, eh? All that time pruning, thinning out the fruit, looking after the fruit, fertilising, picking, cleaning, packing, paying for the freight for it to go down the boxes and everything, and nothing. We don't get nothing from that unless they let us claim off their insurance. I don't know yet. We're trying to find out what's going on. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I suppose it's the old argument, farming is always a gamble. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And hopefully you average out over the season and end up with a half decent income. Okay, so let's have a go, shall we? So I can prune stuff that's close to, like that, or if it's high up, I can just go hopefully this will speed things up big time, because you're not having to constantly move the ladders around the tree, and then you can only reach as far as your arm. So even if I was to use ladders, I could still reach a bigger width. Okay folks, that's all we've got for this week. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.